Hi everybody, congratulations, you made it to the last week of class. So the only thing that stands between us and a well-deserved break is our final exam. So we're going to talk about the final exam a little bit here, go over kind of what's expected. This is your final exam study guide, so this is on Titanium, so I encourage you to go on there and kind of read along as we're going through this, but you can also go through it at your own pace as well. Before we get started, I did want to ask everyone, if you haven't done so already, please fill out the SOQs for this class. It is very important that we get your responses. I really appreciate getting the feedback from you guys, so you can let me know what you liked about the class, what you thought could be made better. It'll only take a couple of minutes. It's on your portal, so thank you to those of you who have already done it. I think last time I checked we had about 10 have done it, but the department wants us to get to as close to 75% as we can, so I'm going to need at least 15, 16, 17 more people to do it. Again, it only takes a couple minutes, and I really do appreciate hearing from you guys. So if you could take just a couple of minutes and fill that out, that would be great. So let's go ahead and talk about the final now. So final exam will be Wednesday of next week. So one brief thing to note, there is no class on Monday. So if you come looking for me on Monday, I won't be here, but you can always email me if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to discuss with you. If you want to schedule like a Zoom meeting with me to chat, we can do that as well. I'm happy to do that. But we don't have any scheduled class because it is technically finals week. So the final exam is Wednesday, May 13th from 3 to 5 p.m. So the times are normal. It is a cumulative exam, so it's covering everything that we've talked about throughout the course, and of course that means everything is fair game. It's only a 2-hour test, so you're not going to see everything on there, but it is cumulative, so it will cover a wide range of topics from throughout the semester. Okay? So let's go ahead and look through the guidelines here, kind of what to expect. You'll notice that there are some changes that were made, and they're highlighted in orange, just to indicate what's different for the final compared to the other midterm exams. So the exam will be posted as an assignment at 3 p.m. on Wednesday. Just like normal, you'll need to do each problem on a separate sheet of paper, scan them all into a single PDF. So that's like normal. You'll upload this and submit it by 5 p.m. And again, as always, that 5 p.m. deadline includes the time it takes to submit the exam. So really, our normal exam time is 3 to 4:50, and then you kind of get that last 10 minutes to really to take the pictures, upload the PDF, and submit it. When you submit it, make sure you hit the submit button. I know some people didn't do that last time, so just make sure that you're submitting it. And then something that's new for the final, so for every 5 minutes after 5 p.m. that the final is not submitted, you'll lose an additional 10 points off of your final exam score. So we have to be really strict with the final exams. So I need those turned in on time. So what that means is if you turn in the final exam anytime from 5:01 to 5:05, you're going to lose an additional 10 points off your score. The final is out of a total of 125 points. So that means you could get at most 115 if you turn it in within 5 minutes late. If you turn it in from 5:06 to 5:10, you're going to lose an additional 10 points, so it's 20 points off your score. If you turn it in from 5:11 to 5:15, you're losing 30 points off your score. So I'm being very strict on the time requirement. So make sure that you turn it in on time, because it's going to start costing you points, because we need to maintain the integrity of the exam and make sure people aren't taking longer than they should be taking. Okay. So just like normal, you do not need to rewrite each problem, just label each one clearly, make sure they're in order, and make sure your work is legible when it's scanned so that I can grade it. I'd appreciate it if you put your name on the first page, that way if I'm just skimming through them, I can see pretty quickly whose it is. But bottom line is don't take the time to sit there and rewrite all the problems, just make sure you label number 1, number 2, etc., etc. Okay. All work must be justified to receive credit, so you are going to be allowed to use your class notes during this exam period. So even though it is the final, I am allowing class notes to be used, because having the class notes is just a tool. It's not going to just tell you all the answers because the questions will be different. However, outside resources and internet resources are strictly prohibited, so that includes the use of calculators, technology, anything on the internet, any additional resources, any additional people that you're talking to. Using any resources other than your class notes is considered prohibited, and it's considered academically dishonest, and particularly on the final exam that would result in a score of 0, and that would not be good for anybody. So just make sure that it's all your own work. If your work is not justified thoroughly enough, or there are a bunch of missing steps, or it looks like there's plagiarism, then no points will be given. So make sure that you're justifying your steps, and that just means show your work. You don't have to write a full explanation or anything, but if you just jump from step 1 to step 5 and don't show me any of the work in between, that indicates to me that maybe you didn't know what those steps were and you just copied one step from a book or from Google or whatever. So just make sure that the work that you're doing is your own. Okay. Now, some of the important different stuff for the final. The final exam, we're going to be taking it live, and you will need to be connected to our class Zoom meeting. Okay, so you need to be on our class Zoom meeting, and you have to have your camera on so that I can proctor this exam and so I can see you while you're taking the exam. Okay, so that's one important difference between the final and the other exams. The other exams, you can just take it on your own time and submit it when you need to, but you have to be in the Zoom meeting in order for you to get credit. If your computer doesn't have a camera, you can use your phone's camera. They have a Zoom app. It's free. You can just download it and get it installed on the phone, and then link it to your CSUF account, and then you'll be good to go. If you don't remember how to get into our Zoom meeting, you can watch the video that I gave everybody called Intro to Zoom. So that's our very first video that I posted on our Titanium page. Important information here about this Zoom meeting: you will need to check in and check out of the Zoom meeting because I will be recording your times when you start and when you finish, so when you check in and when you check out. So if you are not here during the Zoom meeting, you're not going to be getting credit. And you can't check in, at 4:30 and check out at 4:45 and then submit a whole exam to me and say you did it during 15 minutes. You have to, if you're working on the exam, you have to be on the Zoom. And then your checkout time, I'm going to record that as well and compare it to when you submit. So for every 5 minutes after you check out from the Zoom meeting that the final is not submitted, you will lose an additional 10 points from the final exam score. So what that means is if you finish the exam, then you need to submit it and then check out of the Zoom meeting. So there will be a 5-minute buffer there. So if you check out at 4:45, for example, any exam that is not submitted right by 4:50, in that case, would start losing points. Okay, because if you log out of the Zoom meeting and then you don't submit the exam for another 20 minutes, that tells me that you're probably checking resources and stuff without me being able to see you on the camera there. So if you have any questions about that, please let me know if you are concerned about the technical aspect of that, but this is a requirement for this exam, that you do need to make sure that you are live on Zoom with your camera on so I can see you, and then make sure that you submit it before you check out or immediately following your checkout. Because then if you turn it in more than 5 minutes after your checkout, then you're going to start getting points deducted from it. Okay, and then one disclaimer here at the bottom. So I reserve the right to ask you that you do two things. I can ask you to share your screen at any point in time during the exam. So if I think that you're using an internet resource, I can ask you to share your screen so that I can see what it is that's going on the screen of your computer, and make sure that it's only the exam and it's only our Titanium page that's up there, not additional resources. I also reserve the right to have a post-exam interview with you. where I would ask you questions about the problems. We would talk about the concepts, and I would make sure that the work that you did is your own, that you can actually understand it and explain it to me. Because then if somebody is copying from the internet and you don't really understand it, that conversation would probably not go so well. So I reserve the right to do both of those for any students. So just make sure that you're doing your own work and that you're not using any outside resources. So when we are on Zoom, we'll communicate via the chat. So I'm going to mute everybody. That way any noises that are happening aren't causing a distraction for other people taking the exam. So you can check in and check out with me via private chat. So, so check in and check out. That's going to be via private chat. So if you go on Zoom, you'll see there's a chat section, and you could either post it for everybody, but if you go into the drop-down list, you'll see my name there. Just click my name, and then just send me a thing that says checking in or checking out on the private chat, and that's all you need to do. And then I can send you a message back saying, received, and then you're good to go. So we'll be talking via chat. I'm not going to be taking questions during the exam because it is still an exam, but if you have any questions about, the structure of it, the formatting, things like that, then I can talk to you about that. But all conversations will be held via the chat, so that we're not talking and distracting everybody else. So, okay, so I think that's about it for the new logistics side of things. So, of course, if you have any questions about this, please let me know. So I don't want this to be, a very stressful thing for you guys, but this is something that we just need to do to maintain the integrity of this exam. So review topics, got a bunch of topics listed here from throughout the course, good things for you to look at. This can almost serve as like a checklist for you when you're going through and saying, yeah, I know how to calculate limits, I know the basic derivative formulas, I know the trig, I know L'Hospitals, and I know, optimization, whatever. And then you can start going through and trying to check off the other ones that maybe you don't know as well. So this can serve as a good reminder for maybe things that you've forgotten throughout the semester, because again, the final is cumulative. So, okay. I have some tips for you guys heading into a final exam. So go through those notes. Go through, just practice, practice, practice. That really is the best way to prepare. Figure out those concepts that you're comfortable with already, and don't spend a lot of time on those. Spend the time on the ones that you're still working with, still struggling with. Okay, take care of your body. Make sure that you get a good night's sleep. Stay hydrated, and make sure that you're studying ahead of time, not just cramming it all right before the test. Because if you try to learn everything like 30 minutes before the test, it's not going to help. There's too much information for you to absorb it all right at the very end. So, okay. And then I know you guys never got your exam 2 back because we took it right before we went into our isolation here. So I know people were asking me to post those questions, and so I did. So down here at the bottom of the study guide, these are every exam question that we had throughout the entire semester. So exams 1 through 4 are all included here. So this is several pages of questions. For security reasons, I'm not going to be posting the solutions to all of these, so it is just the questions. But if you have any questions about it, or you want to talk about the answers, or you want to discuss any of these problems, you can send me an email. Just say, hey, I'm talking about study guide problem number 9, for example, and then we can talk about it. I'm more than happy to discuss with you. I'm just not going to be posting any of the solutions to these. So I think that's about it. So if I think of anything else, I will let you guys know. But I hope your studying goes really well. I hope you guys, take care of yourselves and, just do your best that you can for finals week. I know it's already a stressful time, and now to have to deal with the technological aspect, I'm sure is frustrating. But you guys have done a really great job this semester, especially given everything we've had to go through. And I have really enjoyed having you guys as a class, both the half of the semester that we got to spend together, and then the half that we've been spending through the computer screen. But I wish you guys all the best, and I will talk with you all very soon, and we'll just get ready and finish strong with this final here. So I'll talk with you all very soon.